What do you fear? Some may fear losing family members, some may fear not being successful in life, and some may also fear poisonous snakes. So, what do I fear? I fear becoming another victim to gun violence. A survey conducted by the University of Chicago Harris has concluded that 4 in every 10 Americans also fear becoming a victim to gun violence. Today, I will be discussing one of the largest problems we face as a society in America, and that is the growing problem of gun violence, and we will examine how mental health affects it. Throughout my speech, we will examine what some major mental health issues are, statistics, why mental health care is hard to access, possible solutions to fix the problem, and why it is important for us to recognize the problem. So why is this relevant? Gun violence has been an increasing problem in the United States for tens of years now. From mass shootings to suicides, gun violence has almost jeopardized the safety of American citizens to a point of no return. Mental illness plays a large role in gun violence in America. With a growing stigma around mental health and gun violence, it is key that we discuss the correlation and what the best possible solutions are. So here are some statistics. As mental health plays a significant role in the violence we see in America in regard to firearms, we need to take a look at some statistics. These statistics will show insight to how the lack of mental health treatment has affected the lives of many people around the country. Statistics from the Center for Disease Control, Suicide and Self-Inflicted Injury, there are over 26,000 suicides from firearms every year. These statistics vary from year to year, but that is about 60% of total suicides each year. In 2018, the Federal Bureau of Investigation released a report on the study of pre-attack behaviors of active shooters, found that 44 of the 63 shooters had mental health issues. The study found that 70% had mental health stressors and mental health concerning behaviors. With these statistics, we can conclude that mental health does have a significant impact on gun violence in America, from mass shootings to suicides. Now we will take a look at some of the largest mental illnesses that Americans face and some statistics about our country. The United States citizens have suffered from an inadequate amount of resources when facing mental health problems. Many believe that in today's age we are facing a mental health crisis in America. We will examine some statistics and take a look at why mental health care is such a big problem in one of the world's most successful economies. Mental health can range from mild to severe, but some of the most common illnesses that Americans face are depression, schizophrenia, and obsessive compulsive disorder. A study from Johns Hopkins Medicine estimates that around 26% of Americans 18 and older suffer from a diagnosable mental health disorder. Another study from the University of Michigan Medicine concludes that around 7.7 million children and teens suffer from at least one diagnosable mental health order as well. That is over 60 million Americans. The National Alliance on Mental Illness states that nearly half of the 60 million adults and children living with mental health conditions go without treatment. Despite medical care being stronger than ever, we have to ask, why is mental health care so hard to access? According to Social Solutions, some of the largest contributing factors to mental health care are large financial barriers, a lack of mental health service and professionals, and the social stigma around mental health treatment. With inadequate support for mental health resources around the country, we will now take a look at some of the most viable solutions that can help our country. As the United States has struggled to address our increasing problem of the mental health crisis, it is important to consider all possible solutions that can help those who are suffering. Some of the most beneficial ways to increase access to mental health services are to increase funding, address the lack of workforce needed, and make counseling more accessible to everyone. Increasing funding for mental health services is by far the most important step to solving the mental health crisis. Increasing federal funding, expanding insurance coverage, and expanding tax incentives would give citizens the opportunity to seek help and obtain the medication they need. With a substantial number of citizens affected by mental illnesses, there is not nearly enough health professionals to help. An article published by Stacy Weiner for the Association of American Medical Colleges states that over 150 million people live in areas where mental health care professionals are in a shortage. She also states that the country will be in shortage of about 14,000 and 31,000 psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, and others will be overextended. By increasing the number of healthcare professionals, our country would be able to give greater access to those in need. Another possible solution is creating a broader service such as telehealth programs. Telehealth programs would give access for people in remote locations instead of having to go in person. People in need could use this service from their own house, work, or school. Some ways to promote telehealth services are expanding insurance coverages, investing in infrastructure, and training professionals to conduct their businesses over the internet. There are many ways to fix the problem, but these are just some of the possible solutions that I think would be the best course of action to get the ball rolling for expanding mental health services. Now I will discuss why it is so important for our generation to take a stand and its importance for our future. So why should we care about this? This topic is so important nowadays due to the increase in violence of our country. By addressing and taking action on mental health crisis in America, we could change our future for the better. By taking action, we can break the constant cycle of violence in America, create a safer society for our country, and reduce the stigma of mental health for everyone. To my fellow peers, I would like to personally reach out and say that whatever is going on in your life, everything will eventually be okay. We cannot let bad times define our character, and more importantly, let it define our decisions in society. If you are struggling with your mental health, it is okay. I struggle from time to time too, but I try to remember the good in life and make the best out of situations. Check in on your friends and family, as you never know when someone just needs to be listened to. Now we will be examining some questions from fellow peers. A question from Ruby Noon. You mentioned that a sizable portion of deaths involving mental health issues are from suicide and that these suicides are from firearms. What percent of suicides are committed with a firearm? There are about 50,000 suicides every year in America. And over 60% of those suicides are committed with a firearm, which correlates to around 28 to 30,000 each year. Each year they vary, but statistics show that there are around 60% of suicide deaths are committed with firearms. So what loopholes are causing those who are mentally unwell to purchase the firearms? There are many loopholes in today's society. Some of the biggest loopholes that we face today are gun shows. Some gun shows do not require background checks and they illegally sell to people with no information on their background, their well-being, or their past criminal history. Another loophole is the boyfriend loophole, where someone of a significant other can purchase a firearm for another person and can obtain it illegally if they are not allowed to actually possess a firearm. Through these loopholes, many people get their hands on weapons that they should not be able to and create a more dangerous society for America. So in conclusion, through history and the present, we can view the effects of mental health in today's society through gun violence. It is more important than ever to address the growing problem of mental health and think about how we can take action to create a safer America. By increasing funding, implementing new services, and finding more healthcare professionals, we would be able to take a step in the right direction of helping those in need and minimizing violence in our country. Mental health is a very serious topic and is important to seek help if you need it. Checking in on your loved ones, you never know when someone needs to be heard.